Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. My name is Kukuletu, the owner of Talking Music. Today I'll be talking about how to equalize a bass sound. Now, when it comes to bass sounds, I don't know why people complicate the EQ process of a bass sound. So this video is going to be a very short one because this is an easy process. First things first, what I do when I EQ a bass sound, before I process the bass sound, if I have a direct bass or if I'm using a VST instrument, then I'll duplicate the bass and then create a bass amp. Now, for the bass amp, I usually use the Soft Tube bass amp plugin, which is really dope. So what I'm doing here is just adding an amp to the bass sound so that it cuts through the mix nicely. And then for the direct bass, let me open the EQ settings. I simply create a boost around 4 kilohertz just to bring up the notes of the bass sound so that you can be able to tell which notes are being played on the bass sound. This also adds the presence of the bass so that it can be able to cut through the mix. Let's check out the before and after. That's with the EQ, and then this is without the EQ. Again with. As you can hear, you're able to tell which notes are being played on the bass. And then next up, what I do is to add some weight to the bass by creating a shelf boost at 50 Hz. Now, here's the secret. I see a lot of people cutting frequencies that are below 100 Hz just to make space for the kick drum. That's the wrong approach. The key is to get the right sound straight from the source. You have to work with sounds that work well together. So if you choose a kick that is boomy, you can't use a bass sound that has a lot of sub frequencies. You have to make sure that the sounds that you are using already work well together without any EQ or stuff like that. So you have to get the right sound straight from the source. That's the secret. But if your bass sound still is still not cutting through the mix, then what you can do is to create a boost around, let's say, 700 Hz. Let's check it out. As you can hear, that adds a lot of punch to the bass, but I don't need this for this project. So if your bass is still not getting punchy, then you can boost around that frequency, around 700 Hz. But make sure that you don't cut any frequencies that are below 100 Hz, because that's where you find the notes of the bass. Let me open an analyzer to show you guys what I'm talking about. As you can see, the bass is dynamic. It's playing different notes. So if you cut anything below 100 Hz, let me just say below 200 Hz, then you'll be cutting certain notes. Some of your notes will be lower and some of your notes will be louder and your bass won't sound good. So don't cut anything below 200 Hz. And then for the bass amp, what I do is just to add the attack of the bass by boosting at 4 kilohertz. You have to sweep around the frequency spectrum to find this frequency. Don't just boost 4 kilohertz. Each and every bass will be different. But for this one, I found that boosting around 4 kilohertz worked very well. So let's check it out without the EQ. This is without. And this is with. Without. As you can hear with the boost, you can be able to tell which notes are being played on the bass. And then it also improves the attack of the bass so that it cuts through the mix nicely. For the amp, I don't do any low end boosts because that will add frequencies that I don't need in the low end. I just need the amp to make sure that you are able to hear the bass even when you are listening in small speakers and on headphones, earbuds, or smart speakers. So that's why I use an amp so that I can add more harmonics to the bass sound. And that's how you equalize a bass sound. It's really that easy. Don't complicate this stuff. Just make sure that you get the right sound straight from the source and then don't cut anything below 200 hertz. Always choose sounds that work well together. Those are the secrets for getting a dope bass sound. So I hope you found the tutorial helpful. If you did find value in this tutorial, then make sure that you smash the like button, click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so that YouTube can notify you every time I upload a new video. I'll see you again tomorrow. As promised, I'll be doing these tutorials on a daily basis, except for weekends. If you want more tutorials related to mixing, then you can check out talkinmusic.com/books. We'll talk again tomorrow. Cheers.